This is Daniel Mandelker, and this is our podcast, Jackie's Books, where we will talk about novels by Jackie Adams, an emerging author. We will also bring you book reviews and other commentary. This is Daniel Mandelker for Jackie's Books. We are starting a new year with new books from Jackie. We will be publishing A Hitchhiker Called Yesterday soon. I know the title has you all interested, and we will let you know when it is published. Today, I'm going to list books by one of my favorite authors, John Grisham. The Widow, just published. A classic, compulsive, taut, and thrilling novel from one of the great storytellers of our time. The Widow is John Grisham at his irresistible, unforgettable best. Simon Latch is a lawyer in rural Virginia, making just enough to pay his bills while his marriage slowly falls apart. Then into his office walks Eleanor Barnett, an elderly widow in need of a new will. Apparently, her husband left her a small fortune and no one knows about it. Simon works quietly to keep her wealth under the radar. When she is hospitalized after a car accident, Simon realizes that nothing is as it seems, and he finds himself on trial for a crime he swears he did not commit: murder. To save himself, he must find the real killer. The Pelican Brief, a classic legal thriller involving the assassinations of Supreme Court justices and a law student who uncovers a dangerous conspiracy. America learns that 2 of its Supreme Court justices have been assassinated. And in New Orleans, a young law student prepares a legal brief. To Barbie Shaw, it was no more than a legal shot in the dark, a brilliant guess. To the Washington establishment, it was political dynamite. Suddenly, Darby is witness to a murder intended for her. Going underground, she finds there is only one person she can trust: an ambitious reporter after a news break hotter than Watergate, to help her piece together the deadly puzzle. And here is Secondhand Truths by Jackie Adams. How is it possible to see a man Micah's only dreamt of? Is he real? How could he be sitting in the Italian bistro right now? What happens when the man literally of her dreams appears alongside of his little sister? Mika's happy in her life. She's working for Andrea, her best friend's boutique. Not only that, but she also lives in her best friend's penthouse. Mika really couldn't ask for more. What happens when Mika's perfect little world is turned upside down by whom she thinks is the perfect dream man? Matt, how about this question? What was the first podcast created?
Oh, that's a good question. So it might surprise you and the listeners, but the first podcast episode is widely considered to be Christopher Lydon's open source that was released in July 2003, so over 2 decades ago. So basically, this was an audio recording of an interview with a software developer. And what's probably most interesting about 2 decades later on, the most popular format of a podcast is still an interview or a conversation between two different people. So anyway, that's the answer. 20 years ago, it was a podcast called Open Source. And that's where we kind of have the origin point for all podcasts happening. So you got anything else, or are we going to wrap things up?
I think I'm going to wrap things up, Matt, and that's it for today, folks. Enjoy John Grisham.